Okay, so I got a problem. I didn't really study for my DNA test, and Mr. Jetten's kind of a really strict teacher. And the problem is, I might get expelled if I don't do good on that DNA test. So, I'm gonna ask for a little bit of help. Lucky for me, I have a really good friend who's gonna teach me some stuff about DNA. And here she is.
Hi, my name's Alexa, and that was Stefan. And if you didn't already know, he's a lazy kid who didn't study for DNA, so I'm gonna help him out a little bit. We ready for this?
You betcha!
So here we go. First off, there were these two guys called Watson and Crick, and they discovered that DNA is in the shape of a double helix.
A double what?
A double helix, like a ladder.
A ladder?
Yeah, a ladder. See, if this was a strand of DNA, the stuff here would be sugars and phosphates.
Did she say sugar?
I said sugar. No, not that kind of sugar. No, it's a special kind of sugar called deoxyribose.
Huh?
Deoxyribose. You know, like the special DNA kind of sugar. There's another kind of DNA.
This is crazy.
It's called RNA, and it uses ribose instead of deoxyribose.
All these names for sugar. I just like the ones that I get to eat out of the jar.
Yeah, we'll get that later. No big deal. Anyways, the rungs of the ladder here would be nitrogen bases. Adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine.
Okay, whoa, what?
We can just call them A, T, C, and G for now.
Okay, and can we put them in any order we want?
No. A's always have to pair up with T's, and C's always pair up with G's.
Thanks, Alexa, you're sure helping me out.
Doing what I can. DNA doesn't just magically replicate, though.
It doesn't do it using gypsy magic?
Unfortunately not. But first it splits apart.
But, what? It splits?
It uses an enzyme called helicase,
Uh-huh.
and it splits in half.
Whoa!
Just like that. And then another complementary DNA strand forms, and then it copies the first DNA strand and forms two identical DNA strands.
Who knew that all this stuff was going on in the nucleus of a cell?
Exactly. DNA is also responsible for protein synthesis.
Wait, protein. Like, in a steak?
Not exactly. The proteins in your body is made up of amino acids. Remember when we mentioned RNA?
I think I remember it, yeah.
Yeah, there's two kinds of RNA, messenger and transfer.
Holy cow.
You got that?
I think so.
The messenger RNA, or mRNA, comes in between the DNA and copies the nitrogen bases.
Uh-huh.
And then it takes that information and goes to the ribosome.
Okay, so it takes it out of the nucleus and brings it somewhere else.
Yes, exactly.
I think I'm starting to get this.
And then the transfer RNA, or tRNA, comes from the cytoplasm and goes into the ribosome and copies the mRNA's codon.
A what?
A codon, it's a group of 3 nitrogen bases.
Oh, like the A, T, C, and G.
Yeah, exactly. Only the mRNA doesn't use A, T, C, and G, it uses A, U, C, and G.
So many little rules.
You'll catch on, it's not too hard. Then, the mRNA reaches the ribosome. Jokes? A code joke? Oh, not too. Oh, right. Sometimes there's a mistake on the codons, and that can cause a mutation.
Like X-Men.
Sometimes it can cause really cool, awesome benefits.
Like superheroes.
Yeah,
All right.
but usually it causes something bad, like fast-growing cells that can cause cancer.
Wait, cancer. That's a terrible disease. That causes death, and there's no cure.
Exactly. That's why, for the most part, mutations are a very bad thing.
Holy cow. Thanks for sharing that with me, Alexa.
You're welcome. Now I think you should be ready for any DNA test.
Bring it on, Mr. Jetten.